Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert, and I am riding solo here once again on a Tuesday evening, beautiful Tuesday evening here in Philadelphia, up in the 80s. Feels like summertime here. Got a big slate here on Tuesday night. I'm going to get this two-game slate on Wednesday. I got two Western games on Wednesday with the chance for the Oilers to close things out. And of course, the Golden Knights and the Stars going back to Dallas there for game 5. So I will get into those. Before we get into things here, make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever else. Follow on YouTube as well. Subscribe there, like, comment, all that good stuff. Tell a friend. We're going live here a lot in the playoffs. So we appreciate your support here. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Hockey SGPN and get in the Discord, some decent discourse in there. So, you can always join in the fun there, sg.pn/Discord here. So yeah, as I said, mainly going to be focusing on these two Wednesday games here for this show. I got some picks, got some props, got some stuff to look at here. So definitely, listen along here. Also going to touch on some futures. Only two games. So, we're going to keep this shorter here. Just going to get right into it, though. Kick it off at the 8 p.m. time slot. We got the Vegas Golden Knights at the Dallas Stars. The game itself is in Dallas. The Stars are minus 162. The Golden Knights are plus 136. The over-under is at 5.5. Overpaying off minus 125 with that under at plus 105 here. But this has been a weird series. The road team has won every game so far. Vegas going up 2-0 down there in Dallas with a 4-3 win and 3-1 win in games 1 and 2. And Dallas gets that big overtime win in game 3, a 3-2 overtime winner. Thanks to Wyatt Johnson, he really had himself a game there in game 3. And then they didn't play as well in game 4, but they got the job done. They went down 1-0, tied it up, went down 2-1, tied it up, led going into the third period, and held on, got an empty net goal, went for the 4-2 final there. So Stars are looking like the team we thought they were going to be here heading into these playoffs. And, Golden Knights are healthy now, but maybe they don't quite have the same talent and depth that the Stars do, especially in that Jake Ottinger, he's still not looking fully on his game, but 32 saves on 34 shots last night. He's looking good there between the pipes. And so is Logan Thompson, but Ottinger just has that pedigree. I can't really trust Thompson as much as you can trust the Stars here. Ottinger for the Stars. So I like the Stars here in this game. Minus 162 might be a bit steep. What is catching my eye, though, is the Stars to win this series. You can get that at minus 150 at some books. I'm seeing minus 143 here at Bet Rivers and Bet Parks and all different Canby books there, Unibet, whatever else uses that odd service. And that's the way I would go. If you like the Stars here in game 5 like I do, you can get them at a better price for the series, almost 20 cents better. I would definitely look that way, minus 143. You can get the Stars to win in 6 at plus 220. Which I don't know if I would prefer that. If you like that, just maybe do a money line rollover here on the Stars in this game, and then the Stars again in game 6. So I have to imagine the line will go back towards the Golden Knights in that one as they return home. But home ice advantage has not really played out so far in the playoffs so far for these two teams, but it did in the regular season. Dallas is 26-13-4 at home overall this year, while Vegas is 20-17-6. So 23 losses, 20 wins there for the Golden Knights. So I can't back them here on the road. I am looking at the under 5.5 here, under 5.5 at plus 105. Game 1 went over with 7 goals there, but there were 5 goals in the first period of that one. Last night, unfortunately, went over 5.5 with that empty netter in a 4-2 game. But, this is a spot where you might want to look at some live betting. There's been a lot of early goals in these games. Game 1, 5 first period goals, 2 goals the rest of the way. Game 2, there were 2 goals in the first, 2 goals the rest of the way. Game 3, 1 goal in the first, 2 goals in the third, but then nothing until deep into overtime. And then there in game 4, 2 goals in first period, 3 goals in the second period, and just 1 goal, an empty netter there in the third period. So I was looking at a third period under here, I believe on DraftKings, third period under half a goal. So no goals to be scored in the third period was there at plus odds? If I found it again. No, here it was. Total goals in the first 10 minutes of the third period under half a goal at plus 120. If it's a close game going into the third, both of these teams know they can't give up too much. That's been how it's going here so far in the playoffs between these two teams in these 4 games. Only 3 third-period goals through 4 games, including that empty netter, which definitely came in the final 10 minutes there. So I like that there. Plus 120 if you want to play that, or just take either team to go under half a goal in the third period. Knights team total under a half is plus 124. Stars team total under 1.5 in the third period. Interesting. Minus 230. Wouldn't quite lay that juice there, but if you are a live better, definitely keep an eye out for a live under in these games. They do tend to tighten it up as things move along here between the Golden Knights and the Stars. Two good teams with good defenses. Two of the best defenses probably in the playoffs here. Vegas, I've talked about them. They have 3 good pairs. Alec Martinez was missed a game, but he's their third pair. Ryan Suter, not too great on the Stars. He did have that hooking penalty against Jack Eichel, which was a necessary penalty, but I think this will still be a low-scoring game. So keep an eye out for a live under, or just play the under 5.5 if you like that there. They also have some props for this game. Quite a few here, so stick with me. Alec Martinez, just mentioned him, under 2.5 blocks at minus 135. He had 4 blocks in game 1 or game 2 there on the 24th, but only 3 blocks combined in the past 2 games. Last game, he only played 13.5 minutes. So on that third pair there, not going to get as much usage, especially on the road here. So like that at minus 135. Going right back to Jackie Aces to score a goal. You can get it right now, plus 200 at FanDuel, plus 150 at DraftKings. So 50 cents there of value. He scored in 3 straight games now. He's coming in clutch. So I really like that there. I might bet that along with him to get a point. Him to get a point is minus 190 at DraftKings, minus 164 at FanDuel. So 26 cents. 26 cents there between the difference. He has a point in 5 straight games, 8 straight games, 17 of his past 20, 72% of his games this season, and 73% of his games against the Stars dating back to the beginning of last season. That includes the playoffs. That includes a 6-game point streak here in the last 6 games against the Stars. So I like that quite a bit. That would probably be my best bet if you can get that at minus 164. One more on the Golden Knights side. Shea Theodore under a half a point at minus 166. A bit of juice to lay for a defenseman that does play significant minutes for the Golden Knights, but he's not on that top power play unit. You got Hannafin there. He is on the second power play unit, but top power play unit does get most of the damage. He's on the second pair now with Hannafin and Pietrangelo on the top pair. So I think that's worth a look. He only has 1 point in his past 5 games, 3 points in his past 10 games, and only has not had a point in the past 7 games against the Stars. So another good stat there. And then going over to the Stars side of things, sticking with that under a half assist for Jason Robertson at minus 130. He had 2 assists in game 3 there, but has only had an assist in 4 of his past 20 games against the Golden Knights. So he's been kind of, he's a goal scorer, not quite a playmaker. He only has 2 assists in 2 games of his past 10 games and 8 of his past 20 games. So I like that look there. Also, Matt Duchene, going back to him, under half a point at minus 115. We had that for last game. He got a point on the power play, but he very rarely goes back-to-back games with a point. Only has a point in 5 of his past 20 games and has not fared well against the Knights in his career this season with the Stars. That was his first point in game 4 there on the power play. So getting close to pick him here. I like that. Joe Pavelski, he's a big playoff performer, but he had a hat trick last year. He's been good for the Sharks, good for the Stars now, but dropped down to the third line in game 3, stayed that way for game 4, and I have to imagine it'll be the same thing for game 5 here. So under half a point at minus 110. He's been held off the score sheet this series. So yeah, I could see him, coming through at some point, but if you're giving me minus 110 for him to stay off the score sheet again, I'm definitely going to take that. And then Miro Heiskanen, over 1.5 blocks at minus 120. He had no blocks last game, but coming back home here, he had 3 blocks in game 1, 2 blocks in game 2, 3 blocks in game 3 as well. He's gone 2 blocks or more in 7 of his past 9 contests overall. So I like that look here as the Stars return home. And then Chris Tanev over 2.5 blocks at -140. He took a shot off the face in warmups. Still played yesterday because, of course, he did. 4 shots blocked during the game. 6 in game 3, 4 in game 2, 3 in game 1. So -140 there. He's been a good addition there for the Stars on the right side. So that I like that play there. That's all I have for the Golden Knights Stars game. It's going to move down to the late game, 10 o'clock here at the Los Angeles Kings at the Edmonton Oilers. Game itself is in Edmonton. Oilers are -198. Kings are +164. Over under is at 6.5. Over paying off +105 with the under at -125 here. The Kings stole a game in overtime in LA, but coming back to Edmonton here, Edmonton has a chance to close things out after playing, a pretty poor game against the Kings in game 4, outshot 33-13. They were able to capitalize on their one power play to win that 1-1-0. Talked about this with Joel last night. That gave me a lot of confidence in the Oilers moving forward, and kind of the market reflected that. They're now the favorites to win the West. They're now among the favorites to win the Cup at 5-1, right there behind the Hurricanes. Yeah, everyone's thinking this could finally be Edmonton's year. Of course, you do need to see their defense step up here a bit, but I think going back home, I mean, they beat the Kings 7-4 game 1, 5-4 overtime loss in game 2, but then 6-1 in game 3 with a dominant effort, 40-28. The shots were, they had 3 power play goals. They've had a power play goal in every game this series, so Kings have not learned their lesson to stay out of the box, and the Kings haven't scored a power play goal despite having 11 chances. So Edmonton's, playing well in all situations at this point. Stuart Skinner's looking good in net, so if he's feeling it, the Oilers are going to be feeling it. Edmonton 29-9-5 at home this season. Kings are 23-16-4 on the road. So, it's decent there, but I think Edmonton just pulls this out. Puck line +130 would probably be my look here. Could see another 7-4, 6-1, 5-2 type of game with the Oilers looking to advance. Kings could pull their goalie a couple times, like we saw with John Cooper on Monday night, to ruin anyone that had the under in that game. He pulled the goalie 3 or 4 times there. Panthers just poured it on as they took the torch down there in Florida. But yeah, for this game 5, I could very easily see something similar with the Oilers running away with it. Let me see what their team total is at. Let me click in here. Not that. Let me click in on the Oilers, because I could see this team total over 4.5, maybe team total over 5.5. Over 4.5 +190, over 5.5 +400. I don't hate those at all. Over 3.5 -130 might be one of the best bets here. They did have 4 goals in the game that they lost, so that's 60 cents cheaper than taking them on the money line. I don't hate that at all there. Over 3.5 at -130. Of course, you got the race to 4 goals in regulation. Oilers +130 there as well. Don't hate that. Race to 5 +235 might even be better if you do like the over team total 4.5 at +190. You get a little bit better, provided the Kings don't get to 5 before the Oilers do, but that should not happen there. I think the Oilers close this out and go on to play whoever wins the Nashville Vancouver series. We got game 5 of that one tonight. Vancouver leading 3-1 in that series. So, I mean, if you're listening to this on your podcast feed, that probably already happened. So yeah, Oilers here looking good. Like the Oilers long term. If you're not already invested in them, I would definitely recommend that. Do have some props for this one, but first, got an underdog fantasy entry for this 2-game slate on Wednesday. I'm going to win up to 15.8 times your money here. Going with Matt Duchene, lower than half a point. Talked about that one already. Going to go with Joe Pavelski, lower than half a point as well. Talked about that one. Listen to the full podcast if you have not. Miro Heiskanen, higher than 1.5 blocks. He's been good for Dallas there on the back end. And then for this game, Edmonton, Evan Bouchard, higher than 2.5 shots on goal as he returns home. And then Kevin Fiala, higher than 2.5 shots on goal. So that's a 5 entry there. You can win up to 15.8 times your money as of now. Make sure you sign up with promo code HGP. Make sure you check out everything else they're doing as well at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code HGP for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Okay, now we got some props here for this Kings Oilers game. Gonna start with the Matt Roy under 2.5 blocks for the Los Angeles Kings. He had 4 blocks in game one, but only has 5 blocks since then, going under in all 3 contests and 3 straight here. His minutes have been declining for the Kings as well, so I like that look there as a prop. Sticking along kind of that line, going with Kevin Fiala, sticking with the King. Kevin Fiala over 2.5 shots on goal. That's in my underdog fantasy entry. He's hit that, I believe, in every game this series. Yeah, 4-3, 4-3, going from game 4 backwards. Had 5 in the last game of the regular season. 8 of his past 10 games. He's hit that in 69% of his games against the Oilers since the start of 2022 season. So I like that there as the Kings try to stay alive. Sticking on the Kings side, I don't like Kevin Fiala to get a point, though. Kevin Fiala under half a point, you're getting plus 105 on. I don't see the Kings generating much offense against the Oilers here. He hasn't had a point. He's had a point in less than half of his games against the Oilers since the start of 2022, including only 1 in the past 7 matchups. So getting plus odds on that, I think, is a good look for this one. And another Kings one, Isaac Kopitar under a half point at plus 105. Did have that overtime winner in game 2, along with the 2 other assists, I believe, there. But that's all he's had in this series. He's only had a point in 3 of his past 10 games. Only half of his games against the Oilers since the start of 2022 as well. So getting plus odds there, I do like. But, he is on the top line. I am taking his line mate, Quinton Byfield, to have an assist at plus 175. I know it's kind of contradictory there, but Byfield's been moved up to the top line. He's been playing well. Could see, he could get a point on the second power play unit as well. Kopitar's not there. But yeah, plus 175 is definitely a good look. He had 4 assists through 3 games before being cut off the score sheet, of course, in the shutout loss. And I just think that's pretty good value there. He had a 7-game point streak or 8-game point streak against the Oilers prior to game 4. So plus 175 for him to get an assist. Don't hate that at all. Then on the Oilers side, not going for the big guns. I do like Evan Bouchard to have over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 125. Did only have 2 shots in game 4, but coming back home here, game 1, he had 3 shots on 8 attempts. Game 2, he had 4 shots on 9 attempts. So I see him getting back into the swing of things here as he returns to home ice there in Edmonton. In a similar vein as well, Evander Kane over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 125. Only 2 shots in game 4, much like Evan Bouchard, but 4 shots in game 3, 4 in game 2, and 6 in game 1 on 8 attempts. He seems to be, rejuvenated a bit here for the playoffs, and he's gone over 2.5 shots on goal in 80% of his games against the Kings since the start of 2023. That seems to be, at least 10, 15 games there. Only missed it in 3 of those games. So consider a ladder as well. He's gone 4 or more in half of those games. So don't hate that for Evander Kane to get in on the action with some shots on goal there. All right, that's the 2 games for Wednesday. Going to take a quick look at some futures plays here. Let me get the odds up at DraftKings for those of you watching on YouTube here. I got team futures. Stanley Cup odds, not too shocking. You got the Hurricanes plus 425, Panthers plus 475, Oilers plus 500, Avs 6-1, Rangers 7-1, Stars Bruins 9-1, and then you got the long shots, Nucks 17, Golden Knights 18, Jets 7 plus 75, 75-1, and then Leafs and Preds are out of it. I'm still high on the Kings. I know Joel's not. I just don't believe in the Rangers. I don't like their 5-on-5 play. They weren't great at 5-on-5 against the Capitals, and I think the Hurricanes should be able to exploit that. But of course, they got to get past the Islanders first tonight here on Tuesday night. That's still one of my favorite plays for the Cup. Probably only going to get shorter, especially if they do get past the Islanders. I'm gonna look at some conference odds as well. Canes plus 210, Panthers plus 215. Yeah, they're going to be the odds-on favorites here. I'm not sure how the Bruins are going to fare against the Panthers after getting past the Leafs. You got Austin Matthews out tonight, so Bruins probably going to win this one in 5 at home. But going against the Panthers do look like they're playoff ready again. Big win against the Lightning. Could take down the Bruins again here in the playoffs. So I don't hate that at plus 215. In the West, you got the Oilers plus 200, Avalanche plus 260. Stars there at plus 450 could definitely be worth a look, especially as I was saying. If you like them in the series, they're minus 143. And if you like them in the series, you probably like them to take down the Avs or the Jets next round. Let me see what the best odds you can get on the Stars are here. Stars to win the Western Conference, you can get 5-1 at Canby, so plus 450 here at DraftKings isn't too bad. For the Cup, you can get them at 11-1. I still think that's pretty good there, especially after winning Game 4, and they're still at 11-1. I think they were 14-1 before that. So if you can find that on a Canby book, that's pretty good. 9-1 at DraftKings and Caesars as well. So I like the Stars. I haven't looked into if any Stanley Cup winners have gone down 2-0 in the first round and come back to win it. I'm not sure if that's something they have tracked, but that could just be the speed bump they needed. Went down 2-0, were able to battle back against the Golden Knights. So I like the Stars long term. I like the Hurricanes long term. That was my Stanley Cup prediction going into the playoffs. Sticking with it, Hurricanes over Stars. Would definitely, hopefully, win a lot of people a lot of money here if you've been following along with that. I'm going to take a quick look at some Conn Smythe Trophy odds here as well before we do close things out. McDavid plus 750. If you're not on the Oilers, he's probably the bet to take. Plus 750. Oilers to win the Cup are plus 550. So getting 200 cents here. I know I've been talking about Draisaitl could win it or Hyman could win it, but unless McDavid goes really quiet and one of those players like has a hat trick or something in a clinching game, I don't know if they can award the Conn Smythe to McDavid if the Oilers win the Cup. McKinnon 14-1, but as Joel mentioned last night, Makar 21-1. Makar won the Avs, won the Cup last time. He's looked really good against the Jets. He has his Jets on his skates there, so don't mind that 21-1. Panthers are interesting. They got Kachuk 17-1, Bobrovsky 18-1. They have Verhaeghe down here somewhere 30-1. Barkov had a big game last night, 45-1. So this is one you kind of try to look at, or not now, but the second round when you see teams go up 2-1 or go up in their series, you try to look at what the value plays are for the Conn Smythe. So definitely wait a little bit on that. Canucks are another interesting team. Their goalie, Demko's out, DeSmith is out. They're going with Silovs now, so that'd probably be like a Quinn Hughes type. Quinn Hughes at 40-1. Pedersen hasn't really shown up. He's 50-1. JT Miller's probably been their best player, 50-1. I know Catfish is banging that drum hard in the Discord there. I think he's their leading scorer at this point. JT Miller has 6 points. Brock Besser, though, has 5 points and 4 of those goals and that hat trick there. I wonder where he's at, because he could be a worth a value player. Let me command Brock Besser 90-1. That should come down, but I don't know if he has the name recognition like a Miller, like a Pedersen, like a Hughes to take that down. But we saw Marchessault come out of nowhere last year when Jack Eichel and Mark Stone had pretty good arguments themselves to win it for the Golden Knights. The Hurricanes are a team you also can't really nail down their Conn Smythe candidate. You got Gensel 19-1, Aho 20-1. Anderson would be my look 23-1. I just think if they win the Cup, that's going to be the storyline as they win low scoring games with Anderson really showing up in net. And as Talon mentioned in our preview show, like he's healthy, he's fresh, he's always good early in the season, and he missed most of the season due to a blood clot issue. So coming back, he's looking fresh in net there. And then there was a question in the Discord about the Bruins. Who wins it if the Bruins win it all? And you're not really sure. Swayman 27-1, Pasta 28-1, Marchand 30-1. They're all in there. Bruins are 10-1 to win the Cup. So unless you have a specific guy you really like, I would just take the Bruins to win the Cup and then maybe add a Conn Smythe later. But yeah, Marchand's been the guy now, but Pasternak's definitely going to step up at some point. Marchand 8 points through 4 games, 3 goals and 5 assists. DeBrusk has 5 points for them. I don't think Pasternak's really done much yet. 2 goals, 2 assists for Pasta through 4 games, but it does matter more what they do later in the playoffs. So yeah, make sure you stick along here with us. Make sure you subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube as well. Get in the chat. Shout out Parker there in the chat. Appreciate you all the time showing up. And yeah, follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. Get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. We should be back on Wednesday, probably a similar time, 6:30 Eastern here. I know Joel should be good for that. Talon will hopefully be able to join us pending what happens with his Leafs tonight. Hopefully they can extend the series. It would be very Leafs for them to win without Austin Matthews. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you follow along, and we appreciate all you. So make sure, yeah. And I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop. See ya.